Hi, this is Mariah Wilson,
and Chloe Roberts,
your host of the 24/7 Country Podcast. Today, we will be diving into the Dixie Chicks controversy and discussing how the media negatively framed the Dixie Chicks, ultimately swaying the public's opinion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Natalie Maines state that she was ashamed that the president was from Texas, and she also disagreed with Bush's decision to invade Iraq?
That's exactly what she said, expressing her right to freedom of speech.
I just find it funny how quickly the public was to actually bash the group.
I was completely baffled at the editorial Mike Rosen released called Chicks Reap Whirlwind. He totally dismantled their character and all of their hard work.
I saw one quote throughout the editorial that really stuck out to me. They're probably not smart enough, they're in over their heads, and they made the perfectly stupid business move of alienating their core audience.
He also states, the Dixie Chicks might have to wash off their makeup, swap their spiked heels for sandals, learn some folksy protest songs, and start working the coffee houses in Greenwich Village. Those insults were completely unnecessary and cruel, not to mention they had nothing to do with the Chicks' statement. He very clearly reveals his sexism.
I also think it's very important to realize he never actually stated what the Dixie Chicks said to their audience in London. He only ever framed them as idiots and anti-American without providing any context.
Exactly. The public eye could easily see them as a group of unprofessional dumb girls who hate the president due to the way he covers the story.
I think throughout this editorial, it's very easy to identify the feminist and cultural lens throughout his media coverage.
I truly think his real issue was the fact that a group of women decided to voice their opinion on a stage.
I could not agree more. This entire editorial bashed the group and lit fire to the public.
We looked into some articles covering the controversy and decided to go with the U.S. Weekly titled Revisiting the Chicks 2003 George Bush Controversy That Changed Country Music by Kate Pettibone.
I love that her article focused on their apology and the repercussions after the scandal.
I personally think this article started to expose the real truth behind the whole thing. Maine publicly apologized to the president for being disrespectful and even debunked the claims against her, saying she was not proud to be American. She didn't have to do any of these things.
Not to mention, the public didn't even accept her apology. Kat states, despite the apology, the Chicks continued to receive backlash from the country music scene.
It quite literally makes no sense. The public saw an opening to cancel a group of women on the rise who spoke their truth. Kat also refers to other country groups and singers who fed the hate fire, which obviously only worsened their case for the public.
I don't think they ever cared about an apology.
They definitely didn't.
The last source we're going to glance at is the Shut Up and Sing documentary. It follows the Dixie Chicks as they deal with the rage of the public, from blacklisting to death threats.
I just can't wrap my head around sending a death threat over a statement that was meant to be non-harmful.
The documentary entails how quick radio stations got the Chicks off their channels and how boycotts rapidly arranged.
It's also important to note how much of a toll the situation took on the group, with multiple media sources criticizing them, leaving Natalie Maines to fill out fault for the downfall of the group.
The free-for-all media hate against them flooded the public with lies and misinterpretation.
I agree.
However, I enjoyed how the documentary shows how the Chicks tried their best to handle it with grace and bounced back for their concert return 3 years later.
However, I enjoyed how the documentary shows how the Chicks tried their best to handle it with grace and bounced back for their concert return 3 years later.
Overall, things could have gone a lot different for the Dixie Chicks.
For sure. The reaction to Maine's statement could have taken a totally different route.
If they were covered as peacemakers or a patriotic group voicing their opinion, society would have probably praised them.
The media negatively framed them, ultimately swaying the public's opinion.
Thank you.
See you next time on the 24/7 Country Podcast.